What's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope you all have had a great start to your week, a great Monday. What I'm going to do when the weather is a little bit slower, like it is now, we've kind of entered a slow period. We're in the dog days of summer. There's just not a whole lot to talk about. The tropics are quiet for now. I don't really see any big-time severe weather outbreaks. We are going to talk about the potential for severe weather, more severe weather in the Northeast in this video a little bit. But what I'm going to do is basically, I think what I'm going to do is make a video each night and make a forecast for the next day, if that makes any sense. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what we can expect in the eastern U.S. I'm not going to get super detailed about each state, but that's what I'm going to do until the weather picks up and we have something concrete to really pin down and talk about. So we're going to talk about what can we expect weather-wise for tomorrow, and we're going to begin to maybe look a little bit ahead, but we're really going to just stick to that. So there's just not a ton to talk about right now. So, it's funny. I was actually, I made a tweet on Twitter last night that actually did pretty well. A lot of people could relate. I know when I was young, it seemed like we had more storms at night. It seems like when I was younger, like in my high school years, we had a lot of storms where it seems like we had frequent lightning. It seems like I would watch the lightning for hours. And, it's funny, around here lately and in central South Carolina, we haven't had a really good nighttime storm where you could just sit on your porch and watch the lightning go crazy way off in the distance in a very long time. So I'm hoping we get one of those this summer. Obviously want to stay safe, but it's always cool just sitting on the porch or just sitting outside watching lightning bolts go crazy everywhere. So hoping we get something like that. I don't know, I randomly thought about it last night. I was thinking, man, it'd be nice to have some really nice, cool lightning storm at night. Way off in the distance, but we're going to really break this down, talk about what we can expect tomorrow. If you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider doing so. As the weather's slow, the growth is slow, and so it's all right. I kind of anticipated this for July, and let's get going here. So the Storm Prediction Center for tomorrow, there's a big marginal risk for severe weather. That is a level 1 out of 5. If you haven't been with me during the spring talking about severe weather, there is a little area in eastern Pennsylvania, only in Pennsylvania, where there's a slight risk of severe weather. That's level 2 out of 5. There's actually ongoing severe weather right now in the Northeast, especially closer to the big cities along I-95. There's a small area of a 2% chance of a tornadoes. So there's definitely a threat for an isolated tornado out there. We'll have to watch for that. And then a 15% chance of wind damage, 25 miles of any given location. So I do expect some severe weather tomorrow in the northern sections of the mid-Atlantic, maybe even West Virginia, areas of Western Virginia, but really areas of Pennsylvania into New York State tomorrow for sure. So we'll start off by looking at the southeast for tomorrow. We have some showers and storms out there in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. Just your typical, today was, especially where I live, today was about as classic of a mid-July day as you can really ask for, really, or think of. Had temperatures around 92, 93 degrees with isolated showers and storms. So very, very average and typical July pattern in place. We talked about how there's going to be average to below average temperatures going forward through most of the month of July. If you missed that video, it's in my last video from last night. But looks like we are going to have below average temperatures here in the near future, and then going forward through most of the month of July for a good chunk of the eastern U.S. and definitely the south. But as we get into tomorrow, we're going to have showers and storms popping up. This is the latest long-range HRRR. The coverage could shift. I know the HRRR model did not do well yesterday, but a lot of these short-range models are just guidance, and all models are just guidance, and it's really hard to pin down where exactly a storm is going to pop up. I can tell you one thing: we have a lot of widespread coverage of showers and storms in the southern sections of South Carolina right now. That really, if you look at the forecast from the day before last night, or even this morning, it didn't really show anything. So it's really hard to pin down, but it's a good bet for showers and storms from Alabama up to Tennessee, up to Kentucky. And as we move forward in time here, it's a southwest flow, right? So that means that if you're in South Carolina, the storms are going to be coming from out of Georgia. If you're from North Carolina, the storms are going to be coming from out of South Carolina. It's a southwest flow because of the Atlantic Ridge out here, out in the east, out in the Atlantic Ocean. So very typical pattern. It's just a very common pattern. getting going through in time. Basically anywhere where you see the storms, the rain has a potential for storms. So I expect basically the entire southeast, the mid-Atlantic, to any given location, an isolated, a scattered chance of a storm, 20, 30 to 40% chance of storms. And any of these storms could be severe. Then when you lose the daytime heating, it goes away. Look up here in the northeast, this is where we could have our severe weather. Ongoing severe weather actually might be a nice little line of storms overnight, even in Pennsylvania. The same areas are going to get affected by severe weather tomorrow. But you get into the afternoon hours of tomorrow, here's these cells that you have to watch out for that could really produce a quick spin up. Wouldn't be surprised if we get some videos tomorrow, maybe some funnel clouds or something. But really, these storms you have to watch out for. There's upper trough in place, a lot of marginal thermodynamics in place, but there's enough for some severe weather. There's definitely going to be some severe weather in New York State and definitely in areas of eastern Pennsylvania tomorrow with some of these storms that move through. And it's just been very stormy in the Northeast lately. A lot of people in the comments have mentioned y'all have gotten a lot of rain, so it's been very active, very, very active in this area, and it will continue to do so. Large area, especially the interior Northeast, will see some chance of some strong to severe storms tomorrow. As far as temperatures, getting into the morning hours, it's that time of the year. I was looking at Myrtle Beach this morning. It's kind of that time of the year where the low temperatures barely drop below 80 degrees in some of these coastal areas, especially areas like Delaware and Maryland and these eastern coastal sections. They barely make it below 80 degrees. It's just that time of the year. It's hot, humid. I tell you what, I went camping out in the Outer Banks. It was in June, so it wasn't super hot yet. Towards the latter part of the trip, it got really warm. But I just remember, it don't matter how late you stayed up the night before, you were up by about 6:30 because it was just so hot and humid in the tents. And that's just how it is. When you start to get into really in July in general, dog days of summer, you don't cool off much at night. Now, if you're way up in the Northeast, yes, you'll get your 60s, especially in the mountain areas, and even in the mountain areas in the Carolinas and Tennessee and Virginia. But outside of the mountains, about as low as you're going to get is the 70s, especially this time of the year. I mean, look around the Washington, D.C. area. Low temperatures are maybe only getting, in the mid to upper 70s. Very uncomfortable. We warm up quick. I think it could potentially be very warm around the Washington, D.C. area, maybe in the mid 90s, but very warm everywhere else. Unless you get morning convection that keeps clouds hanging around, then you might get some cooler high temperatures. But in the southeast and mid-Atlantic, 80s to 90s, you can pretty much bet on it. And obviously, no point in really showing this, but I will anyways. It's just humid. It's that time of the year where it's humid everywhere. You just got the deep Gulf moisture over the entire eastern U.S., except if you're way up in Moon near the Caribou area, where the jet stream still dips enough even in the middle of summer, but very humid conditions. So dew points in the 60s and 70s pretty much everywhere. So that's pretty much all I got. And we'll continue to do this until there's something more in depth to talk about. But I'm going to continue to have my commitment of making a video every evening to keep y'all updated and for my own growth here on the channel. So thank y'all very much for the continued support, and God bless all y'all.